imposed by me, myself. Nobody else does that. I do it myself. That's the intellectual tawbah. If a person is truly liberated intellectually, they will feel no fear. People normally feel afraid when they ask this question, where is Allah? And they're frightened. Who created Allah? And they are frightened. Since when has Allah been there? And they are frightened, aren't they? They feel afraid. Why? Why should they feel afraid? It is their right to ask, and it is the only way to go forward. And it is that inquisitive nature that Allah has instilled in them. These are the very questions that need to be asked. If somebody is asking, where is Allah? Then it is Allah prompting that question within them. The very fact that they fear shows that they have erected a limit upon themselves, and that needs to be broken. Because tawbah means to return. And every point that bars and impedes our return needs to be removed. All the insecurities need to be removed. Think about it this way. We need to have confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we arrive at that point zero and say to Allah, oh Allah, this is what I am, and I have this inquiring nature. Oh Allah, I am acknowledging this to you. You know what is happening in my soul more than I do. You know what is happening in my mind more than I do. Oh Allah, I am frightened. Why not be truthful and acknowledge to Allah? Oh Allah, these questions are coming in my mind, as opposed to burying my head within the sand. I want you to help me through it. Imagine. I want you to help me through it. I know you are. I can't prove it. I am lost. Help me. If we arrive at that point, the whole process of tawbah becomes an extremely manageable and easy process. If we don't arrive at that point zero, it becomes very, very difficult. Look at us at present and look at the calamity that is upon our heads right now. We have created an ideal world in our minds, the world of Islam and Shia Islam. And there are many things that don't make sense. Is there anyone here, a thinking individual, who can put their hands on their hearts and say that there are things that are all explained? Any free-thinking man or a mind will know that there are many things that don't make sense. However, what do? We fit it nicely within our own world of Shia Islam to make it explainable, don't we? We modify it, we interpret it, we explain it away. When, through reading of the Quran, have we ever paused and said, this doesn't make sense? Otherwise, the claim will be this, that everything makes sense. I often give this example, and it came from Marhum Mullah Asghar when we were studying with him, may Allah bless his soul. He stated Suratul Wilaya, and as soon as he said Suratul Wilaya, our Wahhabi brothers charge us against Suratul Wilaya. Immediately I said, that's nonsensical, we don't have any Suratul Wilaya. He said, of course not, we do have Suratul Wilaya. And I said, how amazing, what is the Suratul Wilaya? You see, normally the Shias are charged with having Suratul Wilaya, an extra surah within the Quran. And it's nonsensical, there is no Suratul Wilaya, you and I both know, don't we? What is our immediate response? These Wahhabis are fabricating lies and attributing them to Shia Islam. However, a free, liberated mind would do what? Would say, where is this Suratul Wilaya? Let me see. And if it is as good as the Quran, then maybe it is a true Suratul Wilaya. And if it is not, then it isn't. And if the Shias have introduced a Suratul Wilaya, then Shias are wrong. A free mind would think this way. Can you see that? Would not want to justify everything. Anyway, Mullah Sahib explained, may Allah rest his soul, he said that at one point it was highly recommended, before we had printing presses, to write the Quran and make copies of the Quran. And I remember this was many years ago when I was studying at Madrasa Sayyid al-Khuy, and he stated that a Shia had made a copy of the Quran, and at the end, after he had finished the Surah of Wan Nas, he wrote a separate paper, poetry, in honor of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he named it Suratul Wilaya, not as a part of the Quran. Now, when we inquire, we find out the truth. But none of us is ready to first and foremost entertain the question. If somebody were to come and say, Islam is wrong, without hearing what claim they have to make, we will go on to the defensive. This is not a liberated person. When we arrive at that point of acknowledgement with Allah and we become in a state of fluidity, we say to Allah, oh Allah, I am trying to yearn you and find you. Whether it's in Shia, Isnashri or Wahhabi Islam, wherever you are found, you are mine. Can you see that? And that is why, and I'll say this and you can condemn me afterwards when you start thinking about it in a few days' time, because that's what I've been told by somebody here. People say, will Hindus and Jews and Christians and Buddhists and atheists go to heaven? I will say, it's not my Father's heaven, I can't reply you. The prophets were asked the same question. They were asked, what about the people who went before you? What did the prophets say? They said, Allah knows better. Who are we to judge them? Allah knows their. Even the prophets did not have the audacity to say paradise is his or not his. Even the prophets did not say this is in the Quran. The answer is this, that a Hindu who is sincerely arriving at that point zero, acknowledging themselves and trying to find Allah, even if they die as a Hindu, Christian, Jew, Muslim, they are Muslims. And if a Muslim and a Shia Isnashri who is caught up in this world of his because he has taken birth in a Shia Isnashri household but is not able to break through and liberate themselves, it would be questionable to say if they are Muslims at all. There's a very, very big difference in the way what we are saying right now. Once we arrive at that point and we start engaging in the real Tawbah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states so well about Tawbah, that he who does Tawbah, he will forgive. He will forgive and he will convert their evils into good deeds. And in another hadith, the Prophet says that, the fifth Imam says that Allah said to Dawood, O Dawood, if somebody repents after acknowledging themselves and repents, I will forgive them. I will make the angels forget their sins, and I will convert every one of their evils into good deeds, and I do not care less what anyone says, for I am Allah. This is the level. And look at the level at which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes his servants. There's a hadith in Kitab al-Mu'min that the mu'mineen shall be raised on the day of Qiyamah. When they shall open their book of deeds, there will be no mention of their evils. There will be no mention of their sins. In embarrassment, they will look towards the throne and plead with Allah out of embarrassment and say, Oh Allah, you know I'm a sinful creature, yet my book bears no sign or trace of my sin. Allah will respond to them and say, my pride does not allow me that anyone other than me should see your sins. Just imagine if we can come at that level of acknowledgement and we can understand. This is the intellectual state of liberation. We can never face an adversary because we have erected an impediment in our own minds. Otherwise, we are very, very open to whatever is given to us and we can consider it. That is the intellectual